It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and surprise, surprise, our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Wednesday, December 4th, with your hosts, me, Ray, and, well, Hoodie Man, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
Happy hump day, everyone. I am doing great, Dad. I am so glad to be here with you. Today's show is brought to you by CarEdge, the company putting the edge back in car buying, selling, protecting, refinancing, and insurance. Check it all out. We've got so much, including free dealer invoice price, folks. We got a new campaign going back on caredge.com. I dare you to click on dealer invoice price up there.
What happens? What
I
happens?
don't
Click
know.
on
I
it,
don't
damn
know.
it. Click on
No,
it.
you got to go to the website and see for yourselves. Dad, the tipping point has been reached. We've got 3.19 million new cars in dealer inventory. That's the latest mid-November number, up from 3.04 million at the start of the month. An 89 days supply of new car inventory, up from an 85-day supply at the beginning of the month. New car inventory continues to pile up on dealer lots, and the latest and greatest data we have shows that it's only getting worse. It's finally happened, Dad. The new car market has reached its tipping point. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Part of it. Some brands have reached a tipping point. Other brands, well, not so much. Toyota, Honda, low day supply brands, I don't think they've reached a tipping point. Excess day supply brands, they reached a tipping point quite some time ago. Some of them didn't realize it, however, and are just beginning to realize it now. But yeah, I saw that article, and I saw that despite all their best efforts, and they will say that sales were up for November, and despite all those efforts, inventory continues to grow and build for the entire industry. So
how do we reconcile that, Dad? How do we reconcile that? So we look at, this is the sales data from last month. Okay, you can see November 2024 versus November 2023. And you can see for Ford, for example, they sold 165,418 vehicles. That's 14.5% more year over year. Scroll down, you see American Honda. They sold 121,419 vehicles this November, 106,035 last November, up 14.5% as well. Hyundai up 14.7%, Mazda up 20.6%, Subaru up 8.2%, Toyota up 4.8%, and Volvo up 5%. Of all of these 7 reporting automakers thus far, we're up 11.3%. How do you reconcile, Dad? Sales, Dad, if our sales at CarEdge went up 11.3% every single month, we'd be ecstatic, right? That'd be incredible. How can that happen? And at the same time, inventory levels are also growing at as rapid a rate as they are. Does it mean that production lines are just on overkill? Like, is that what's happening?
Well, it could mean that for some brands, the way to raise much needed capital is to produce the vehicles and invoice them to their dealer body, and then let the dealers deal with the aftermath of all that. So that could be part of it. I would be curious as to which brands saw their inventory really increase. And then maybe we could extrapolate a bit more out of that.
Can I read to you a text message I received?
I love when you do that.
This is from a Mazda dealer.
Yes.
Hey, Zach, is there anything we can do to earn more business? Can we do a push in our area if possible? We will be very aggressive with quotes. I honestly don't think anyone in the country can beat us. We have so much inventory. I can get better numbers for you tomorrow, but Mazda CX-30s, 5s, 50s, and 90s, literally everything. I have fewer sedans, but SUVs are heavy on the lot. That is a text. I'm going to tweet it out, actually. I'll tweet it out on the show right now. That's a text I got, Dad, just the other day from a Mazda dealer. Like, that is to your point. Maybe the OEMs are reporting record sales because they don't care. They're just shipping it off to their dealers. And then what's happening to the dealers? This is what's happening to the dealers.
And sorry, I don't know that. I would say that sounds somewhat reminiscent of what our good friends at Stellantis did over the previous 18 to 24 months, which was produce more vehicles than they needed, convinced their dealer body to take them and carry them in their inventory. Let's face it, the manufacturer makes their money when they invoice the vehicle to the dealer. It's not as if Mazda doesn't make their money until their dealer sells the vehicle. Mazda doesn't care. Well, they probably do care to a certain degree. And most of the manufacturers care to a certain degree. They don't want them sitting for a long period of time. But if they need the cash resources, well, then one way to get them is to build more cars and invoice them to your dealers until your dealers say no mas. And when will that happen? We know it happened for our good friends that have Stellantis franchises, where they were turning down inventory and allocations left and right because, well, for two reasons. One, they had no place to put anything coming
Seriously, yeah.
And two, it was like, well, the cost of carrying this inventory is beginning to get astronomical.
Has been astronomical.
Yes.
We know the publicly traded car dealer groups, they've reported that their floor plan costs have been through the roof, tens of millions of dollars more annually than the year prior. So yeah, Dad, I think you're really onto something. The way that we can reconcile a headline like we've got in automotive news today about November auto sales being record setting and being, at a blistering pace growing, and up 11.3% year over year. And the other reality, which is that new vehicle inventory is at the highest level it's been in 4 years. I mean, 3.19 million, folks. We're going to round it up. 3.2 million new cars in inventory. It was October of 2021 where we had 860,000 new cars in dealer inventory. We're talking about 300%. Yeah, 300 to 400% increase in new car inventory. And Dad, I was just in Las Vegas driving around there. The dealer lots in Las Vegas, it's game over, baby. It is truly game over. They put all their money on black and it landed on red because holy cow, it's just a sea of cars at those dealerships. And that's, obviously just one market, but I'm pretty sure, and we can use our CarEdge machine to find it out, but I'm pretty sure that's happening nationwide.
I'm pretty sure you're right. And it becomes incumbent upon the dealers and hopefully the manufacturers to a certain degree to help incentivize these sales. But yeah, 3.2 million vehicles either in inventory or on their way for that month of November is suspiciously close to the 3.4 million that was normal pre-pandemic.
Dude, we're back. We're back. That's why I said it's the tipping point. Because at the beginning of the month, we knew inventory levels were over 3 million. That was the big breaking news headline. That was, at the beginning of November. The fact that we've got this new data point from middle of the month, so 15 days later, you have an additional 150,000 cars now sitting on dealer lots. That's a tipping point, man. You are back. We are 100% back. The new car market is back to where it was pre-pandemic. And then what's fascinating about all this is that you think, and I think it's going to be similar to all of the different things that you and I have prognosticated about on this channel. We're always early. We're always early because we're in the data much more than I think everyone else is. You would think as supply grows and demand falls, prices have to go down. Well, prices have gone down, folks. Yes. $150 year over year. $150, 0.3% year over year. What I think is going to happen here, Dad, is that we will see a more precipitous decline in new car pricing 6 months from now, just like when we said that Stellantis was screwed and their CEO might be ousted. And then it happened about 6 months after we started talking about, I think we're just 6 months early. Because you cannot have inventory grow by 300 to 400% and prices decline by 0.3%.
Yeah,
that doesn't work. That does not work.
At a certain point, prices are going to have to come down. And prices are going to come down one of two ways. They are either going to increase the incentives dramatically to sell the high price stuff that they have burdened their dealer body with, or, and I think this is the important part, or they're going to start producing lower priced, lower trim level vehicles, so it becomes easier for their dealers to sell the inventory. Don't forget, during the height of the pandemic, when there were only 800,000 new vehicles available on a monthly basis, every one of the manufacturers was loving life. Okay, they couldn't have thought of anything better than what they were experiencing,
Of course.
and their promise at that time was, we are never going back to pre-pandemic inventory levels. We are never going to build more product than what we need. We are going to tie our production into what the customers are asking for, and we're going to keep inventory somewhere around 2 million vehicles, 2 to 2.2 million. Well, that was a short-lived conversation they had with themselves. I mean, if the definition of mental masturbation is automobile manufacturers saying, we are going to more closely monitor our production so that we never end up with excess inventory again, until we do.
And here we are, folks. Let's jump to the
Yes.
chat, Dad, from Dreadnought. Thank you, Dreadnought. Your pick for worst new car feature: start, stop, auto start, stop. I don't know. Yeah, auto start, stop. Oh, you know what mine is? I was in a BMW X5 last week when I was in California,
Yeah.
Dad. That was what my friend had rented. Really, really nice car. Except when you put the seatbelt on and the car starts driving, it like
Yes.
hugs you.
Oh yes, it tightens up. Yes.
I hate that. I hate that.
Yes. The only thing missing is your girlfriend whispering
Dad,
in your ear how much she loves you.
Dad.
That's for anybody. I'm not just saying you.
Fantastic. Thank you for the kind
Thank you.
contribution. Hey, Ray, comptroller is pronounced controller. Just something I noticed this week that you've said several times. LOL. Really? I thought a comptroller, like a comptroller. Why wouldn't they just call it a controller then? Is a controller different than a controller?
Well, you've got that Google machine in front of you. You can get the definition of both.
We can have the computer actually say it out as well. Actually, I'm not
yes.
All right. We're here to Baron. Thank you, Baron. We appreciate the kind contribution. Tell Mazda to lower their advertised prices instead of making us come in and do the dance and try not to get cheated. Price correctly, win big. I think Baron is on to something here. I think Baron is very much onto something here. However, Mazda's been very aggressive on their financing rates. They've been, 0.9, 0%, 1.9. So they have been very aggressive there. But yeah, there's an opportunity to just lower the prices. That's what you've been talking about for months now, Dad.
And after the text that you read, I might have to consider the CX-50 along with the Outback. Especially when we have somebody that's desperate to get rid of some of these.
Dude, seriously, that was an unsolicited text I got the other day from a general manager of Mazda, of all brands. I was surprised to hear that. Dantastic saying, just want to hear mental masturbation again. I don't, so thank you for that, Dantastic.
Yeah, but you just said it.
I know, but I don't want to hear it. I know, but that was because I had to read from Michael. Thank you, Michael. This is incredibly generous. We appreciate it very much. It's a time of year for cheer. When will CarEdge give its gift to the nation with a video of Ray teaching Zach to drive a manual? The only holiday video with more bleats and bleeps than a flock of sheep. Maybe sponsors for time on a track. Wow.
That could be fun. When do you want to learn? And where is it that you want to learn?
Yeah, the issue is you're going to make me come up to you when you
not necessarily.
Yeah.
I would prefer, if we're going to do it, and especially if we're going to do part of it on a track, that we do it somewhere warm.
True. Question: who should sponsor that? Like, in a perfect world, who would we get to sponsor that video? Because I would do it if someone paid us to do it. I mean, hell, that's like the perfect case scenario. We get paid for you to curse at me while I try and learn something, and we can relive all of my childhood trauma. I mean, that sounds great.
And what makes you think I would curse at you? What makes you think that I would get so frustrated that every other word out of my mouth would begin with an F? Isn't this so much fun, Zach?
No, dude, no. Lots of trauma if we do that. But something tells me we can make it happen. I don't know. Maybe we can get like Goodyear or something. Phil says we should have a CarEdge company track day. I think we should, Phil. I think we should. I think that
I
would
like
be
that.
really, really, really fun.
That would
Okay.
be fun.
Yeah, we should make that happen. I've been thinking a lot about. Anyway, the whole CarEdge team is nationwide, so it's just hard to bring everyone together. But
It is.
that's an
It's
excuse.
difficult. The thing to do if you ever want to bring everyone together is to find some central point that is easy to get to.
I don't want to go back to Detroit. I like Detroit, but I
No,
don't want to go
some
back to
central point in I wasn't saying the Detroit.
Detroit Central.
It is. Chicago's fairly central. St. Louis is central. Indianapolis is central. But there has to be central and relatively easy to get to. Chicago would be relatively easy to get to, but we ain't going there anytime soon. It's too damn cold.
Fair enough. Nashville could be fun. All right, Dad, back to the chat we've got here from Michael. Thank you, Michael. Incredibly kind. Consider some sponsorships from viewers via CarEdge's website, $50, $100, $250. That would be really generous and very kind. Let's make some corporation pay for it.
Yes. Let's find a
corporation
sponsor.
Yeah. All right, let's help here.
You know who we should have sponsor it?
Who's that?
Morgan and Morgan.
I'll reach out to the rep who keeps contacting us. I'll say, hey, we've got an idea. We've got here, Dad, from Frank. Thank you, Frank. We really appreciate it. With supply and demand of the Grand Highlander, potential tariffs, is the best time to purchase a Grand Highlander hybrid? Do we have any negotiating leverage before end of the year? Should we wait? Dad, I know we've had some family friends who just finally took delivery of their Grand Highlander hybrid. So the stop sale has been lifted, and that was through our concierge car buying service. But what's your read on the room when it comes to the Grand Highlander hybrid?
Well, I don't think you have a tremendous amount of leverage because there was 3 to 4 months where they couldn't sell them and they couldn't build them. And I don't think they're going to build them in such quantities that they're going to end up sitting on dealers' lots. Now, as far as how they could be impacted by any potential tariffs, I don't know. I mean, I would think, I believe the Grand Highlander, is that built in Mexico?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I just know that I know everybody says, yeah, but if they're built in America, it's not a problem. Well, yeah, but all the parts aren't built in America. That's where tariffs come into play. If you're importing some of your parts from Europe or China or Japan or wherever, those could be subject to tariffs. Will the manufacturers eat all those tariffs and not pass on those extra costs to the customers? I kind of sort of doubt it. Yeah. So I don't know. It's really a tough question, but I would think if you could get a deal between now and the end of the year, and a deal on a Highlander at this point, might be at MSRP or slightly less.
Can I show you something, Dad? Absolutely. There are currently nationwide 1,764 Toyota Grand Highlander hybrids for sale right now. And you've got to imagine a lot of these are already pre-sold to people who've been waiting for them. So I think the Grand Highlander hybrid is one of those vehicles where, we're talking about the tipping point. The tipping point then needs to be more granular. Is it the tipping point for the Toyota Grand Highlander hybrid, or is it the tipping point for the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe? It's been the tipping point for a long time for the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, but for a Grand Highlander, I would say if you can get a deal at MSRP between now and the end of the year, take that. If you can't, then and you know what, Dad? Let me pressure test that. Let me click on one of these vehicle detail pages. Give me a second here. Yeah, our target discount is saying no data or discount unlikely. Although we must have had a concierge deal get under $1,978 under. So evidently there are deals to be had, but I would be very, very, very hard pressed to secure anything meaningful on that type of vehicle.
I would think. I would agree with you there.
And from Amy's comment, it's kind of the same deal across Toyota in general, with the exception of, you want to talk about Tundras and Tacomas, there's opportunity.
Yes.
You want to talk about the Crown, there's opportunity, but you want to talk about RAV4 hybrids, a little bit less opportunity. We did the video where we reached out to 100 Toyota dealers, though.
Yes.
And some dealers were selling the vehicles at invoice price. So, I mean, there are deals to be had again, but it's a much more granular conversation than we sometimes make it out to be at the outset of these videos, because the big picture data is very, very, very bad for the industry and good for consumers. But then when you get into the weeds of it here for particular vehicles, it becomes much more nuanced.
Well, we shall see what the future holds along those lines.
From Baron, collect super chats for a month. Thank you, Baron, for the kind contribution with a goal. Yeah, that could be interesting. We don't need a sponsor for the video. We can just make the video. I think it'd just be fun to get a sponsor for the video. I think that'd be a good collaborative experience.
Yes, I think that would be ideal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Pops.
You
We've
know,
got
maybe here's a thought. I believe in Spartansburg, where BMW has a manufacturing facility. They also have a test track there with a ride and drive type facilities. You know, wouldn't it be great to learn to drive a stick on a BMW on a test track? And I you know, maybe.
All right, who knows someone at BMW? That sounds pretty cool. Dad, you know what company probably won't invite us to go test drive their manual transmission vehicles? General Motors. And that's in part because they can't afford us. They're taking a $5 billion write-off for their struggling China business. We had the story the other day, Dad. The auto market reset is not just happening domestically here in the United States. The auto market reset is happening internationally, globally.
Yes.
China, in China, 4,000 franchised car dealers, new car dealers out of their 34,000 shut down because they weren't making any money. And then you see here, Dad, an automaker doing a $5 billion with a B dollar write-off because of poor sales and poor performance in China. So this is fascinating to me. What's going on is it's not just a U.S. story; it's a global story.
And not only are they taking that write down in China, but I believe they just walked back their plans to be part of the LG battery facility that they helped to build in Michigan, and that cost them another $1 billion. You know, it must be. Wow. It must be so wonderful to, you know, hey, we'll throw $5 billion here, $1 billion there, 750 million here. I want to be in that position someday. I want to be able to throw around money like you throw around birdseed. This is just crazy.
That's one of your best lines in a while, man. I want to be able to throw around money like you throw around birdseed.
I mean, think about it. You know, you want to attract all the birds, you throw out all that birdseed. These people are just substituting cash for birdseed, and they're just pissing it away and getting paid handsomely to do it. You know, there's something wrong here.
I will say that we've had, this is kind of under the wraps, so probably not appropriate to even share, but we've had some conversations with General Motors about a CarEdge program for their dealers to be able to cut through a lot of the noise and BS. Maybe we'll have that go into the market next year, and then we can help them, you know, get back on firm footing, and then they'll invite us. What, like maybe a Camaro? Would that be the manual transmission vehicle I could learn on? Would be a new Camaro?
Something, you know, let's talk to them. I believe, you know, they used to have their test track facilities in Arizona. I believe they moved them to Mexico, to a warmer part of. So, you know, we could do that.
That could be pleasant.
Yeah, I want to go somewhere warm. You know, probably because my heater's broken in my apartment. And so I want to go somewhere warm because it's not where I live.
Yeah, for sure. Dad, in other news from General Motors, we've got a recall. Faulty tailgates trigger a recall of 132,000 GM heavy-duty trucks. This leads me, Dad, to want to put you on the spot. Who is winning in the current recall awards? Who will be the automaker that has the most recalls when the end of the year?
Oh, this is December 4th. I believe that our dear friends at Ford are still in the lead. I don't know that for a fact.
The power rankings have been updated, folks, so we will have updated power rankings in just a moment here.
But I'm guessing it's still Ford. It might not be by a lot, but you know, they still got like three and a half weeks left, if they feel as if that
How many
recall title.
how many recalls do you think are going to get initiated during the slowest time of the year, like overall the holiday? You know what I mean? Like, because that's the perfect time. That's when it gets the least press. That's when, you know.
Yeah, there could be a few, especially if they want to pull out another victory for
For
being number one in
2024,
recalls.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, when did Carlos Tavares get fired? Over the weekend. When did
that
the
was
CFO?
Sunday.
Yeah, when did the CFO of Nissan get fired? That was over the weekend.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
news stories break over the weekend when no
yeah.
one is supposed to hear about them. Here you go, Dad. We have a tie. All right, there's 2 leaders in the pack. We've got a tie. It's Stellantis, Chrysler, FCA at 62 recalls, and Ford as well at 62 recalls. Forest River really trying their best to catch up at 56 recalls, and then the gap to 34 with BMW. General Motors at 32, Hyundai at 25, Mercedes at 25.
Hyundai just announced a recall of close to, I think, 250,000 vehicles due to faulty backup cameras. And I think to myself, when I hear things like that, I think, yeah, those backup cameras are a wonderful thing, and it's a great safety feature. But my God, how for the first 115 years of building cars did we possibly get by with just, I don't know, turning our head, contorting our bodies, and looking out the rear window when we were backing up? Maybe even looking in the rear view mirrors when we were back. And so I get all the technology, and I get all the safety features, and I get that the government, worldwide governments, would like to mandate all that stuff. But the sad reality is that if we need to produce inexpensive automobiles for the world's population, some of this technology and safety items that governments have deemed as necessary really aren't. Okay.
I disagree with you on this one, Dad, but that's okay.
Well, you're entitled to disagree. I mean, that's the beauty of what we do. But I lived through life when dashboards were made of sharp metal objects.
Dad,
I'm not asking that they bring that
Dad.
back, but you don't need a backup camera. You just don't. I'll be good now.
It's not being good or bad. You're just wrong about this one, so it's okay.
No, fine. I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you are. You're wrong.
No.
Yes, you are.
You can. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it, no matter how wrong your opinion might be.
Again, folks, I'm not going to show you. You got to do it yourself. Go to CarEdge.com. Click on dealer invoice price right up here in the top left. It is free. There's no gimmicks. All you got to do is create a CarEdge account. We're trying out something brand new. If you're interested to know what the invoice price is of any new car, you can do it right there, CarEdge.com, and then click on dealer invoice price up in the top left. And of course, the team is really crushing it, Dad. The new vehicle detail pages on the CarEdge Car Search, I think, look so good. We got some user feedback, and another release went out just this morning to update various things here. For example, we've got the link going back to dealer websites.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I've seen a lot of complaints about that.
Yep. So that, like, the team moves fast, man. I'm very impressed. The team moves very fast. So please, 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 if you're not using the CarEdge Car Search, give it a try. Give us your feedback. As always, we very much appreciate it.
I think what that shows is that the team actually pays attention to customer input.
Absolutely.
And if the customers say, hey, we find this to be extremely important to us, not that what you're building and adding to the website isn't great, but we don't want to give this up to get what you're doing now. And to be able to throw that back on there, that's wonderful.
Check it out, folks, CarEdge.com. Dad, we're going to go to the chat here in a moment. Before we do, we need to do our favorite segment of the show.
Really? You've got to be kidding me. Gosh, yeah. What are you trying to say? What? 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 Are you just trying? Let's give Jaguar a little bit of credit, okay? And the credit is that they've got the whole world talking about a brand that doesn't have anything to sell for a year, okay? So you got to give them credit for that. Now, why everything has to be pastels, I don't know. Okay. Um, are those exciting looking renderings of potential concept vehicles? I guess, I get, for the 300 people that it might appeal to. Yeah, I guess. Um, it's lovely.
It's fascinating that they've done all of this
Yeah.
and they can't sell the vehicle for how long? At least a year. They're taking the year off.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
taking
yeah,
2025 off.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it might turn out that that was a great move. You never know. Or it might turn out that that was the precursor to Jaguar never coming back again. One of the
Fascinating.
two things could happen.
All right, Dad, let's come back to the chat. We've got here from Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew can get contact, but BMW no longer has stick shifts at the track.
Uh,
There you go. Thank you, Matthew.
oh my God! Isn't maybe there's the facility, I think, in Indianapolis, in that area, for Mini, and well, I don't even know that Mini's making the manuals anymore, but if they were, learning how to drive a stick in a JCW on the track,
Fun.
that could be fun.
Could be fun. I will say, folks, I think I should start on like one of Brandon Car Questions Answered cars. I think that's probably where I should start. Also, as I go through the chat here, we've got a couple more very kind contributions. Quick question
Yes.
to our community. Name in the chat your favorite feature that we've recently updated or added back at caredge.com. Would be really curious to see some feedback come through on the things that you're finding most helpful and least helpful. Share that in the chat. From Dreadnought. Thank you, Dreadnought. Zach, have you gone to a new car auto show with Pops? Yes, we went to the Detroit Auto Show last year, not this year, but last year. It was quite fun. We met a lot of our community members. We got to create some videos together. Had a really, really good time. And dinner that night was exceptionally good at that Italian restaurant.
Yes.
So far, so good on car show experiences.
Apparently, we should do that again sometime.
Yeah. I think it'd be really fun to go to another one.
Yeah.
We've got Dad from Rich Diana. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you,
We
Rich.
appreciate it. Did Ford ever make it into the Chinese market? They deserve each other. I don't know quite what you mean by that at the end, but yes, Ford has a business in China. I think a rather
sure
large.
They must.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be sitting out on the sidelines on that one because everybody thought to themselves, "That's a pretty big population. That could be a really big market."
Yeah.
Or that could be a big drain on our finances. One of the two.
Yeah, exactly. Depreciation comparison. I'm seeing that is something that folks really like. The dealer reviews back on CarEdge, linking out to the dealer website is important. So, okay, This is super helpful. Really appreciate everyone sharing everything. Oh, least favorite, increasing the price of CarEdge monthly by over 300. Yeah, we did raise the price of CarEdge Insights. Man, when we first started, I think it was like $7 or $9 or something like that. And now for CarEdge Insights, it's $39. So yeah, we did raise the price there. We added so much cost infrastructure to be able to actually deliver all of the data. So sorry about that. And also there's the rationale behind it from Michael. Thank you, Michael. Ray's watch segment today. Pretty please.
Okay, here you go. It's a new watch just arrived yesterday. This is a Echo Nutra. It's a Italian company with Swiss innards, so it's actually a Swiss watch. This is the Avra big moon phase, so it gives you the date and a moon phase throughout the mechanism. It is a automatic wristwatch, and I've got to say, it's brand new and well, I love it. I absolutely love this watch. It's good looking. The whole face lights up at night, so that the face turns blue. The indices do not. And it's just, I think it's a good looking field watch is what they call this. And 39 millimeter, lovely watch. Highly recommend.
There you go, folks. That's
and as somebody said, moon phase shows Uranus. I don't know that has anything to do with it, but it is a good looking watch.
All right, folks, that's a show. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern for more CarEdge Live. Thank you, as always, for tuning in with us. If you like the channel, please make sure you subscribe, share it with a friend. And if we can help you out with anything, The website is CarEdge.com.
May I add one thing?
Hmm.
Even if you don't like the channel, or if there's people out there you don't like, suggest to them that they subscribe and watch anyway. Just
Absolutely.
yes.
Spread the word, baby.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, be
All
like Jaguar. Just get us out there, folks.
Love you, Dad. Talk to you later
Love
on.
you too,
See you guys
handsome.
here tomorrow.